Welcome back. So let's start working with our user management side actually to start getting this up and running. And I want to start out by just creating two new components for user management, which is going to be just an overall users page for all the users and then a users list that I can reuse if I needed other areas. So that's going to be a smart and a dumb component kind of, where the dumb component is going to be the users list. But enough talking, let's try and do it actually. So I'm going down, I'm going into the folder called users, and in my case that's under source, app, and users. So in that folder I'm going to run a few commands. The first one is ng generate component called users. That's going to be my smart component in this case, containing all users available. Then I'm going to do one more, and that's going to be called the user list. That's going to be a dumb component that I can pass data into to represent a list of users. The component here is going to have buttons. The user component is going to have buttons and all kinds of weirdness, where this is going to present only the list, nothing else. And we might extend on this later, but that's all we're going to put in there for now. So it means that I'm actually adding two new folders here inside my users folder. Let me just try and zoom here. So now we have all these beautiful files available. And before we end this, I'm just going to wrap them so they work together. And I want to tell you one more thing actually, and that is when I do the commands, these two lines are added as well, and then they are put inside the declarations. So if you do this manually, you'll have to do this manually as well. That's what the CLI does for us. So let's go to the users list component and consider what we have to do. This is the dumb component where we are going to pass in data from the outside, and we are going to pass in an input file. That's a piece of input, and that input is going to actually be the list of users. And we're going to do it right now. You can do it in different ways. I was considering just doing it as a stupid list of users actually, very simple array, but I'm actually going to instead try and start out by making it as an observable with a list of users inside it like this, user array like this. So let's see if that'll work for us, else we'll change it later by refactoring. So now we actually can pass in a list of users from the outside, and we want to use that list inside our dumb component. And let's just, for the beginning here, let's just do an ng4 here and just present all our users. Notice it actually auto-completes into a minor lowercase. I don't know why that is the case. Users of users here, and again I need to make this a let. There we go. Now we have the users, and remember, since it's an observable, I make it async to actually wait for the information to be passed in to actually present this list of users. Now in here I'm going to just present the user's username for now. We'll get back and make that shiny later. I just want access right now. So now this dumb component is actually up and running. Look at how fast that actually went. The second thing I want to do is take the dumb components tag right here, the selector, and add that into the HTML inside my smart component. So now I have access here. And then of course I need to add the users, so I can actually pass in users inside my smart component into my dumb component. I want one more thing, and that's the toolbar in the top. So we're going to add the CP toolbar we built earlier, add the title here, and then I'm just going to give it the title of CP2 users, just to show that we're actually on the users page. I don't know if that's how we want to do it in the end of the application, but that's how I want to do it now. The last thing I need to do is actually identify this users from the CP list, the dumb component, in my smart component. And again, I'm just going to do that very easily by just saying user is going to be an observable of the type of user array like this, and just import that guy as well. That's a Firebase, not a Firebase. Remember that it's not a Firebase, it's actually the TS file that we made ourselves. And then inside the constructor, I'm going to dependency inject. Again, start getting used to these names like dependency injection and stuff like that. I'm going to dependency inject the user service. There we go. And then I'm going to use that user service to actually populate the information inside my users by using, oh, we need to put in this in front of this dot users equals user service dot get users. There we go. Now we are actually up and running. And again, I've got this. There we go. Now we should be up and running, but we still need to kind of redirect ourselves to this component to actually start testing it out. Let's just finish up by doing that. I'm going into the app modules, I'm finding our routing setup, I'm adding a new route called users, and then I'm going to hit the users component that we just built like this, and it's going to be activated if you have access using the auth guard. That should be it. Let's try and see if it works. So if I go in here and write /users here now, I'm actually going into my users page with the users, and it says CP users. That's all for this lesson. See you next time. We'll have even more fun.